Welcome to the Heart for God podcast. With many years of experience pastoring and helping to start churches, Dr. Jim Townsley has some practical and biblical advice that can be a great help to you and your ministry. On this podcast, Dr. Townsley and other guests with special expertise cover a variety of topics. His goal is to help you lead your church to be a healthy, strong, and balanced ministry, and for your family to be happy, healthy, and living for the Lord.
Welcome to the podcast. Thanks for joining me today. You know, the springtime is coming, but boy, it's been a pretty tough winter for us here in New England and Connecticut. But we're looking forward to a trip to Honduras. It's supposed to be 95 degrees for a high. Right after that, going to Brazil, it'd be much the same, I think. Hopefully by the time we get back, by the end of March, it's going to be a little bit better weather. But, you know, you can serve the Lord whether the weather's good or bad. So certainly thankful for the opportunity to serve the Lord. Well, today I want to talk about something that, make it very clear, it's my opinion. As I've said before, I'm an expert at my opinion, but I don't want to blame someone else for many of my ideas or thinking. But a lot of discussion about Bible colleges and advantages, disadvantages of different ones, and warnings about some of them. But I want to talk about what is the best Bible college. What should a young person do? What should they look for? First, let me say there are those that go to state university or private education that it may be appropriate for them to do that. But there are some great warnings about going to state university for a lot of young people. They get caught up in indoctrination of the wrong philosophies, the social life, and it begins to change their opinions about things. That sometimes there are moral issues that are involved. I'm not sure why this happens, but I've said this before. There are young people that were homeschooled and isolated from social contact, and the parents, upon graduation, send them to state university, and they are ill prepared for doing so. But there are some things that you might feel God wants you to be a doctor, an attorney, a business, and getting a certain degree from a state university may be an alternative, although there are some Christian colleges that may offer some of those things. I am of the opinion I don't think everybody has to go to college at all. There are many opportunities where someone learns a trade. Farming would be that way. You'll learn from doing. Plumbing, electrical, starting a business. There are occupations where it does not take a liberal arts education to function and do well. There's also certain vocational things that you can get trained by working for someone, and I understand that. But even if someone wants to go into some vocation, working with someone, there are some advantages to going to a Bible college for 1 year. And the reason I say that is a lot of young people today need to be away from home to be challenged by others seeking the will of God and learning to get along without the parents' intervention, to operate on their own, develop convictions for their life, be challenged about their spiritual life. And in some cases, they might think, I'm just going to go to Bible college 1 year, and while they're there in that environment, God's able to speak to their heart about preparing for the ministry or to the mission field. So even if someone's going into some vocation that may be something they should consider. It won't be wasted to be in that a better Christian environment. Not that every person in Bible college is spiritually minded, but to be in a Bible college where most people are spiritually minded can be a foundational thing for someone, the next step, preparing to be out on their own. So having said that about state colleges and universities, there are some that have entered the ministry and did so without formal training. There are a few friends that I have to this day that did not receive formal training, not very many, but they've been quite successful. But that is an unusual individual, and in every case, they still had someone as a model to help, a mentor to guide them, and usually they were older when they entered the ministry. By someone now they're in their 60s, had a military career, subcontractor for the military, and faithful in their church. God blessed them for their faithfulness. And suddenly they said, you know what, we're retiring, but we're going to be missionaries and help on the mission field. And they're in their 60s. They did not go to Bible college. But that's unusual, where a young person can be helped by being, even if it's only a year at a Bible college. And if they're studying for the ministry, they really need at least a 3 or 4 year degree. There are certain things that they can study in that environment. Now, could they learn that in their home church through the pastor? Well, the problem is that pastors usually don't have enough time to give them all that they need. And though I know there are exceptions that those did not get formal training have been successful, a much greater problem are people who did not get training and have not been successful. They would do so much better if they had more training, more basics for their ministry-related things, and that they'd be at a higher skill level. So I think in almost all, maybe not all, but almost all cases, someone would be better off. If you're going into the ministry, the mission field, the pastor, Christian education, then you ought to look at going to a Bible college where you get a 4-year degree, and it's going to help you mature, to grow. Further beyond that, you may need to work with someone for a few years, 5 or 10 years, to really help prepare you for all the challenges that await. So is a Bible college necessary? Well, I think in today's environment, it really is so important to get that training. Then the question comes, what college do I go to? Of course, I'm biased. We have a college training young people at New England Baptist College. There are unique things about our ministry where it's hands-on. It's a small school. You get more involvement in doing things. But God doesn't lead everybody here. And there's no one place that is going to do all the training that's needed for the next level. But it is unfortunate that sometimes colleges get to the point where the needed income means they have to change who they are to keep the enrollment up, and they can, in essence, lose what they have. Point in case here is I attended Tennessee Temple in 1972 through 1975. I attended State University, Purdue University, prior to that. So I transferred to a Bible college. That's where I was saved, called to preach, trained under Dr. Lee Robertson. I had a great mentor, pastor, that was from my home church that really helped me a great deal. I had other help from pastors in the area. I was 21 years old when we came to Connecticut to start a church. I was a novice, but maybe it was all right because what we were doing was really just getting everything going and reaching souls. And so we learned as we went along a lot of things, but that training I had was certainly invaluable. But one of the things that happened, now I look back in retrospect, is the college added an education department before I went there, but it was relatively new. And they started bringing in a lot more students, and it kind of blossomed after that, where they had a pretty good size enrollment for education. And certainly that was needed, that Christian schools needed teachers, but there was something happened at the college that sort of changed the focus. And if you know the story, ultimately the school changed. Dr. Robertson, he resigned and passed it on, but it went through an evolution of a lot of things. And so a lot of things happened, and ultimately, believe it or not, the college just closed because, in fact, today the original buildings were on fire and burned down. I mean, it doesn't even exist. Now, how did all that happen? Well, the school started changing its focus so that they weren't just training people for ministry. So my point is, if you really want to get training for ministry, go to a school that's training people for ministry, and that's primarily what they do. So that's the right place to go. You may want to consider the cost. You may want to consider the distance, perhaps the area that you're going to. You can look at, the school is basically the student body. That is the school. The philosophy comes from the leadership. So being in a place where you're going to be challenged and encouraged, where you have opportunity to serve and you have an opportunity to grow. So that's the best place for you. If you're called into the ministry or you're considering that, then go to a place where that's their main emphasis. They're training people for the ministry. At New England Baptist College, I know who we are, why we're doing what we're doing. And it seems like when you lose that focus, that everything changes, and that leads to the downfall. There were limited number of colleges years ago when I started, 50 years ago. Those schools changed over time. And there are many smaller schools. On a mission field, there are effective training institutions, what they call it, a seminary, a Bible institute, or Bible college, where they're training a handful of young people, but those young people are going out, starting churches, taking over churches, or training to pastor the church where the leadership is now. And it's a very effective means. Somehow we get the idea that it has to be large. And there is a place for Christian education to train people for secular work. That was the focus when Dr. Bob Sr. started Bob Jones University. That was their focus, to train people out in the secular world. It so happens they trained a lot of preachers out of that school in those early days. Pensacola's that way. Clearwater, which is no longer, that was their focus. So there is a place for getting training within a Christian environment, but you have to be careful because it could still, even though a Christian college can change your thinking about church, you can lose your zeal for the lost. So you want to be careful about decisions like that. But going into ministry, could be a Bible institute, especially if someone's older, married, that in your local church you can get training. That may be effective and efficient if it's run well. It may be that there is a Bible college near you and you think, well, it's not really run very well. It's not, I don't know if I get my training. You might be better off to go farther. Today it's real easy to travel. You can fly to places. You can drive quite a distance. So being in a place where you're going to be best prepared to serve the Lord is going to be the best Bible college for you to attend. And It's not because of the food. It's not because of this is the newest place that everybody's talking about. All my friends are going there. This is where, I think you have to sort through prayerfully, is this going to prepare me for the ministry? And today you can easily go online and get basic information. And I encourage you to go to a college that you're interested in, visit, meet with the leaders, talk to the students. But I do believe in Christian education. I believe in the Bible colleges or Bible institutes where young people can get training. And basically what is happening is people with experience are sharing their experience so that it's going to help you to not make some of the mistakes they made and to put more information into your heart and mind that you might be better prepared to go to the next step. And the next step might mean working under someone or helping someone for a period of time. And that's all right too, if that's how God leads you. But the best Bible college you can go to is a place that's going to best train you and prepare you to go out and do a work for God. Well, I hope you have a good day today. God bless you. Thanks for listening.
Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed the podcast, consider sharing it with a friend. You can also follow at Dr. Townsley on Twitter or on Facebook at Jim Townsley.